Welcome to Say Yes to Chocolate, the podcast where better is the goal, not perfect.
We're your hosts, Dr. Becky and Sara B, bringing you simple, science-backed wellness with a side of real life and a sprinkle of chocolate love, because balance should taste like joy.
If you're ready to simplify your health and thrive in your 40s, 50s, and beyond, you're in the right place. Let's do this.
Hey there, beautiful human. Welcome to the very first episode of Say Yes to Chocolate. We're Dr. Becky and Sara, and today we're pulling back the curtain and telling you our story.
Yep, how we met, why we clicked, and how a chiropractor and a boutique shop owner ended up here co-hosting a wellness podcast that's all about better and not perfect.
We'll take you back to 2005 when we were building businesses as neighbors in a small town and talk about the chaos, the conversations, and the connection that built the foundation for what we're doing now.
Plus, we'll share what this podcast is really about, how the KISS method shows up in our lives, and why Say Yes to Chocolate felt like the perfect name for what we're building.
But before we jump into any health hacks or wellness deep dives, we wanted to share our story and start at the beginning to give you a little bit of our foundation.
Yep, our beginning. We want to share how we met, how our friendship and careers evolved, and what brought us here, co-hosting this podcast with chocolate in the title.
So it all started in 2005, 20 years ago. I was 26, fresh out of chiropractic school, and I had just hung my shingle and opened my own private practice in a small town. And it was the perfect place to grow roots. I was newly married. My husband and I were going to be starting a family. And that's my story.
And I had just graduated from college. I moved to Beersford to marry my husband, who farms in the area. And I walked into Dr. Becky's office to be a new patient. And also I had lots of questions because I was starting to plan my future and my coffee floral gift shop, and just had a lot of questions about the space she was in because I was looking at renting there.
Sara was about to open her dream boutique, coffee shop, flower shop, gift shop, all the craziness that goes with that, and then was also going to be serving smoothies and lunch and all manner of things. And yeah, she walked in this vibrant, unbelievably, huge spirit, and full of questions, full of life, and also wanting not just business guidance, but also health and wellness guidance. So that's how we actually met.
Yeah, and I was over in the clinic during build out actually quite often because it was way more fun to hang out with her staff. And
well, you chose the space right next door to my clinic.
Yep. So I would build out just 2 doors down, but her clean and already finished clinic was way more fun than the construction dust and all of that chaos. I'll never forget how she helped me figure out how to heal my body, from getting rid of migraines to getting my gut healthier and just feeling better through nutrition and adjustments, and also just some other just basic lifestyle changes. So that is what kicked off my wellness journey.
And Sara just had such an unbelievable gift of just giving of herself. Such addition to our community with her shop and her energy and just everything that comes with her. If you know Sara, you know what I'm talking about. We used to all come over to her shop for coffee and smoothies and wraps. She kept us fueled during the day with both her offerings at her shop, but also her energy.
And you kept us all healthy in our community. Dr. Becky's clinic was always busy and always a wait to see her because of her loving, caring nature for each of her patients. So it was just a natural overlap that we were business neighbors, but we were also walking a very similar personal growth path and business growth at the same time. We were reading the same people and talking not just health and wellness over time, but also mindset and how we can deal with stress and how we can just blossom into a friendship. So
personal development, building a business, managing life. I don't know. Huge fans of Brendon Burchard and Tony Robbins and all kinds of personal development gurus and stuff. And so it just blossomed into so much more than just patient-doctor relationship and a true friendship.
When being part of a small community, we also did community events together too, kind of just partnering. And also just working through some of the challenges of also being outsiders moving into a smaller community as well.
Oh, for sure. And especially starting businesses and stuff. Yeah. Involvement in the chamber and lots of wellness, different expos and lots of community volunteer projects and stuff. So that was 2005 to 16, 17. Sara will share her own journey with the boutique next door. So fast forward to about 2018, and I decided to make a big leap in my career. I sold my private practice and opened a health and wellness franchise in a bigger town with a business partner of mine, my mother-in-law, probably one of the best people that I know. She also worked in the clinic with me, so Sara also knows Laura very well. Mm-hmm. She's like my wingman, my right arm. Sara's my left arm. The wellness business that I opened in a much larger town was membership based, also focused on physical health and wellness and keeping people active and aging well. And Sara became a member pretty much instantly when we hung our shingle with that business.
I didn't really have a choice in that. Dr. Becky really just kind of told me I had to and that I needed to, and I kind of agreed. So, yes.
Well, 13, 15 years of keeping Sara well and physically active, she just needed to. So, yes. So she did.
And at that same time, I had closed my store in 2016, which was hard, but also kind of a blessing. At 23, I achieved my lifelong goal of opening my own coffee shop, floral gift shop, and it was just time for something new. So it wasn't long after I was a member, about 6 months in, that Becky and Laura asked me to join them for lunch and offered me a job to be the manager of their wellness center. And of course, I said yes.
Sara was one of our very first members, had gotten some really good results. She also had been roped into doing a few different commercials for us, obviously, because why wouldn't we? But Sara, in all honesty, had been in the back of both my mind and Laura's mind. If franchise grew to the point where we needed to bring on somebody to help us manage the center and take over some of those responsibilities, she was at the top of our list. So that happened a lot faster than we thought, about 6 months in. And in June of 2019, she joined our crazy world officially.
Yes. And it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made. So, well, it really is. Because every day I learn and grow from this brilliant mind. And there's always a challenge, which is so good, right? It keeps our brain sharp and helps us to learn just new things every day. So it really was the best decision I've made.
Yeah.
And since then, we've worked together day in and day out. We have created so much content through our blog, our YouTube, Facebook, social medias. And it just seemed like now in 2025 was the perfect time to do this podcast. And I know we've talked about it before, but we do have so many conversations in the back room constantly. And it just felt like, hey, why wouldn't we want to bring our community in on that? Why wouldn't we want to share this beautiful knowledge with the whole world?
Well, and Sara has an uncanny ability to take what's in my brain, which sometimes is like a train that's out of control, and rein it in so that I can translate that into doable action steps for people to actually be able to make real change in their life. The podcast was just kind of the next logical step, especially doing it co-hosting style, because it's literally just recording our conversations that hopefully bring a lot of clarity and confidence into people being able to make decisions about their own health and well-being and live the life that they deserve.
Yeah. I love too, just like, it's the confidence that each of us have that own ability to be the author and creator of our own health and wellness journey, right? Like we aren't, we don't have to be dependent on what someone tells us that we see 15 minutes one time a year. We get to actually be a really active role in that. And I think that's a huge shift for a lot of people. And it's really empowering once you make it, and also kind of frustrating, but we're going to dive into that in future episodes. So
yes. And to your point, not only trying to see a health and wellness provider has become increasingly more complex and increasingly more difficult, but there's also so much information out there anymore that it's almost impossible to even know who to believe or what to trust, or one thing, this week, and then it's a totally different story the next week. And so that's our ultimate goal, is to help you navigate through all of those types of challenges and live your best life.
Yes. One of my favorite things that I learned from Dr. Becky as your patient was to live by the 80-20 rule.
Yes.
So, which is essentially what our whole podcast and the KISS method is based off of, which just means that 80% of the week or day, you are making really good choices that are fueling your body and making you feel good for whatever that looks like for you. But that 20%, you might be enjoying life. And it maybe isn't the healthiest thing to be doing, but it's just going to give you enjoyment in life. And that is kind of that balance, right? Because it's not perfect every minute, because no one is.
No.
But it also just gets rid of that guilt and allows you to love life and enjoy it to the fullest. So.
Yeah, right. I think that was always one of the biggest challenges that my patients would have, was they would want to make changes, but if they couldn't do it perfectly, or if they made a mistake, or they didn't work out one day, or they, God forbid, had a pizza party on a Friday night, all of a sudden it was like a failure, or that, everything was lost. And it's just simply not the case. everybody needs to have that pizza party. I mean, good Lord, who doesn't love a greasy, cheesy piece of pizza?
Right.
Or an ice cream cake, or Sarah's dairy-free and gluten-free, and we'll talk about that in the future as well. But who doesn't want, something like that? Or who doesn't want to not work out one day? And so that's what the whole podcast is about. It's about just being better, not being perfect. And quite honestly, laughter truly is the best medicine. And so if you don't have joy in your life, or if you're not enjoying your more days than not, that's where we got to start. Because if you're miserable, it doesn't matter how many changes you make. So there'll be a lot of laughter, a lot of heart. I kind of just keep it real. I say things like it is. Sometimes I'm inappropriate. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I cuss a little bit. I'll try to keep it clean. But that is the reality.
Yeah. And so Dr. Becky actually brilliantly created a KISS method, which is just about keeping it simple and sustainable.
Yes.
Because truly, if it's not sustainable, it doesn't really matter what you're doing.
Right.
Because if you can't continue doing it, you're never going to feel the long-term impact of those choices.
And it has to be simple.
And it has to be simple.
If you can't execute it, it's all for naught anyway.
Right. So there's no complete overhauls here. We're not going to be starting going, whoa, blowing up your world. No.
Yes.
We just want to get those tiny, small shifts that actually make a huge impact for you and us. That's how we live life too. So you can expect from us some science-backed insights, practical tips, and real talk. We will also talk about different products we love because Dr. Becky actually loves to experiment and try new things and do the research behind that. She is a fact finder. If you're familiar with those, is it through Kobe? The Fact Finder?
KOLBE.
She loves that deep research. I am a quick starter who does her research through her for 20 years. So it's a good balance. So
I experiment on myself and then I say, hey, Sarah, you should really try this. Tell me what you think.
Yeah.
So here's why. Yes.
I'm always game. Almost always.
Almost always. There are times. Yeah. Almost always. That's the perfect partnership as well. Because there's times when she's like,
that's weird.
That's weird.
And I also have weird ideas too, so we balance that out.
But ultimately, we truly believe health isn't just what you eat. Health isn't just how you exercise. It's what you think, feel, listen to, believe, what you surround yourself with. And we're so grateful that you're here. And if you have any ideas, topics that you want to share, we are an open book. So if you love this first episode, we'd be so grateful if you'd hit follow, subscribe, and share it with a friend. And make sure to sign up for our email newsletter where we share all kinds of helpful hints, tidbits, tricks, and tips. And the link to sign up and get on our email newsletter will be in the show notes or in the description of this episode on YouTube.
So thank you for listening to our story. In the next weeks, we're going to be diving in all things bone health. So the difference between bone quality and bone density, T-scores, and the different types of bone scans there can be. So please come back to join us over the next few weeks as we dive into some really exciting things. So don't miss it.
See you next time, and always remember, say yes to chocolate.
Thanks for hanging out with us on Say Yes to Chocolate.
If today's episode gave you a win, something to think about, or even just a smile, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, rate, and share it with a friend.
Want more? Join our email newsletter so you don't miss a beat, and come find us on all the social channels at Say Yes to Chocolate Podcast for all the quick hints and tips.
And don't forget, you can always send us your questions or episode ideas. We love hearing from you.
Until next time, keep it simple, stay curious, and always say yes to chocolate.